This was supposed to be his club, his legacy, his story. A boy from Manchester rising through the academy, breaking into the first team with fearless confidence, scoring on his debut, and instantly becoming a symbol of hope for the fans. That boy was Marcus Rashford. And for years, everything pointed in one direction. He would become the face of Manchester United for the next decade. But football rarely follows the script people expect. Because right now, everything about Rashford feels uncertain. Not just his form, not just his role in the squad, but his entire future at the club. A player who once looked untouchable is now facing the biggest question of his career, and the answer is no longer obvious to anyone watching. What makes this situation so surprising is how quickly the narrative has changed. Not long ago, Rashford was the player stepping up in the most difficult moments, carrying the team through inconsistency, delivering goals when the system around him was struggling to function. He was decisive, explosive, and at times unstoppable in open space. But today, that same player is surrounded by doubts. Questions about his consistency have grown louder, his decision-making in key moments has been scrutinized, and even his body language on the pitch has become a topic of debate. And perhaps the most important question of all now hangs over everything. Does he still fit into the long-term vision of this Manchester United team? The situation becomes even more complicated when you consider where he currently stands. After being sent out on loan, Rashford's career has entered a strange and uncomfortable limbo, where he is no longer fully part of the present, but not completely separated from the future either. He could return and fight for his place. He could be sold in a major transfer, or he could remain stuck in uncertainty, a player too talented to ignore, but too inconsistent to fully trust. And that uncertainty creates a problem not just on the pitch, but behind the scenes as well, especially when financial reality comes into play. Because financially, Rashford is not just another squad player, he is one of the highest paid players at the club, and that changes everything about how decisions are made. If Manchester United decide to move him on, they will need a club willing to match both his transfer value and his salary. And in today's market, that is far from guaranteed. This creates a difficult scenario where the club could find itself holding on to a player they are not entirely convinced about, simply because finding the right exit is not straightforward. It is a situation that limits flexibility and increases pressure on every decision moving forward. But beyond finances, the real question may be tactical. Under Michael Carrick, the team is evolving into a more structured and controlled system that demands discipline, positional awareness, and consistency, both with and without the ball. Rashford, however, has always been at his best in very specific conditions, thriving in open space, in fast transitions, in chaotic moments where his speed and directness become almost impossible to defend. When those conditions exist, he is one of the most dangerous players on the pitch. But when the game slows down and becomes more positional, his impact can fade, and the weaknesses in his game become more visible. There is also a deeper layer to this situation that cannot be ignored, and that is the psychological side of football at the highest level. Confidence, identity, and a sense of belonging play a huge role in performance, and Rashford has gone from being the golden boy of Manchester United to a player constantly under intense scrutiny. Every performance is analysed, every mistake is amplified, and every match feels like a judgment on his future. That kind of pressure can shape a player in different ways. Some rise above it and reach new heights, while others struggle to maintain their level under constant criticism. The reality is that the talent has never disappeared. We've seen the flashes of brilliance, the goals, the explosive runs, and the moments where Rashford reminds everyone exactly why he was once considered untouchable. But those moments have become less frequent and less reliable. And at a club like Manchester United, consistency is not optional, it is essential. This leaves the club facing a decision that could define its direction for years to come. Do they continue to invest in a player who has already proven he can perform at the highest level, hoping he can rediscover that form? Or do they move forward in search of a new identity without him? Because keeping Rashford is a gamble, but selling him carries its own risks. Letting go of a player with his talent, his history, and his deep connection to the club could easily become a decision that is regretted in the future. And that is what makes this situation so compelling. It is not just about a transfer or a contract, it is about I